there's so many people out there who are so scared to even take that first step, to even try. They wait for this perfect moment, but there's never a perfect moment. They wait for everything to be lined up and, you know, the right logo, the right brand, the right product. It's like it's never going to be right. So you just need to start and then go all in. And then once you're in there, then things will change and pivot.
Welcome to the Prosperity Playground, the podcast where business meets energetics, strategy meets soul, and prosperity becomes inevitable. I'm your host, Anna Lozano, mom, founder, investor, mentor, and energetics in business expert. This is your weekly activation to rewire how you think and feel about wealth, success, and personal power, because it's not about working harder, it's about regulating deeper, aligning stronger, and receiving wider. You don't hustle for your future, you calibrate to your higher self. Join me weekly for high-level conversations with the world's most inspiring entrepreneurs, creators, and thought leaders. True prosperity isn't just about money. It's about alignment, freedom, expansion, and embodying your worth. Welcome to the playground. Let's build your most prosperous life. And we're back with another episode of the Prosperity Playground podcast. My guest today is joining all the way from Australia. I have with me Kiki Keysers, the founder and creative force behind KIVARI, one of Australia's leading women's fashion and lifestyle brands. What began as a few $100 market stall on the Gold Coast has evolved into a multi-million-dollar global business celebrated for its timeless design, effortless femininity, and storytelling through style. Kiki built KIVARI from her living room while juggling motherhood, intuition, and a deep belief that success doesn't have to come at the cost of freedom. Today, the brand spans boutiques across Australia, an international online presence, and a passionate community of women around the world. In this conversation, we dive into starting before you're ready, as clarity comes from movement, the retail playbook, and why pop-ups beat markets, and how Kiki went from pop-ups to 14 luxury boutiques and design at scale, building collections, community, and a global supply chain. This conversation is a beautiful reminder that you don't need to have it all figured out to begin. You just need to trust yourself, trust your intuition, and take that first step. If this episode inspires you, share it with a founder friend who's standing at the edge of a decision, wondering if she should take the leap or take her 10th or 100th leap. Thanks so much. Enjoy the show and let us know what resonates the most. All right, Kiki of KIVARI, welcome to the Prosperity Playground podcast. You're tuning in from Australia. It's still dark out there this morning.
It is. It's early here.
You're in the future. Welcome.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So we met through our mutual friend, Renee Warren, online yet. We haven't met in person yet, although you were in Kelowna last summer when I was in Kelowna also. So I'm so looking forward to getting to know you. You're coming to our mastermind in Tulum. So it's going to be so good. Oh my gosh. So we're diving in to the very beginning. So you started KIVARI in 2014, a few $100s and at a market. So I'd love for you to take us back to the very beginning of your founder story.
Very beginning. So yeah, it was 2014 when KIVARI officially became KIVARI. But prior to that, it was 2011 and I was a radiographer. So I was working at the hospital. I had a great job, great salary. You know, I was happy, but I felt there's always something missing in that. And it wasn't until I went to Bali on a surf trip with some friends and I became really inspired over there. So I changed my ticket. I stayed there for another week. My friends went home, said, see you later. I jumped on a motorbike, got my last $200 out that I had spending money, and I rode up and down the streets of Bali looking for a leather supplier or someone to make these little designs, these wallets that I'd sketched up on a piece of paper. And I found a manufacturer and I gave him my money and I gave him my designs and stayed in Bali, and he produced them for me and I packed in my suitcase and flew back to Australia. When I got home, I went around. Yeah, crazy, right? This is how it started. I got home, I went to my mum's house and I grabbed her old camping table, put a sheet over the top and put my wallets on this table. And I said to my mum, I was like, I'm going to start the markets. And she was like, I'm so confused. Like, you're a radiographer. Like, why are you doing this? I was like, I don't know. I just want to do this. So she thought I was a bit crazy. My dad thought I was mad. But I was so happy. I was like, I felt like I was creating this beautiful product and I just was so passionate about it. So that's how it started. Headed down, I did some markets, one market at a time, scared, nervous, never sold anything in my life before. And yeah, just kept on going, kept on backing myself.
Okay.
And
I
yeah.
I need to pause for a moment. So this started first in Bali as leather wallets, and it has
Mm-hmm.
since turned into this global fashion brand. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're working full time, you're in Bali,
Yeah.
you're inspired. And where did this sketch idea come from? Were you solving a problem? Was it just pure sheer
Mm.
inspiration?
Yeah, it was more inspiration. And like my mother taught me to sew when I was younger, when I was 4. So I always loved fashion and I always wanted to work in fashion, even though I was a radiographer. I wanted to study fashion when I was younger. My parents said I was wasting my time. It's too competitive. So I switched to radiography, safe job. So I always loved that side of it. And then I had this calling that I actually wanted my own business one day too. So designing that in Bali was kind of bringing those two worlds together and yeah, giving it a shot. And so I started with the leather and then eventually, maybe it was 3 years in 2014, I started designing some little kimonos that went viral. They gave me this massive cash injection to then do more bigger ranges. Yeah.
Okay,
So
so let's go into
yeah.
the kimonos. So how is your quote unquote little leather wallet business doing through the markets and everything? Like, were you growing? Were you scaling?
Yeah, no, growing there. So I'd go down just one customer, one conversation at a time. Like, I literally had no idea what I was doing. Like, just obviously a bit of naivety, how do you say that? Naivety in there as well. Just thinking, oh, like if other businesses can do this, like, well, why can't I?
I can do it
So just,
too.
yeah, I can do it. So I just kept showing up one sale at a time. I'd run out of stock. I'd fly back to Bali on my friend's staff travel, and then I'd literally be sleeping on like factory floors. Like I had no money. It was pretty wild, but I loved it. And there was this sense of freedom that I had with being over there and just creating a life that I loved essentially.
Wow.
And
And were you working still full time while doing
yeah,
this?
it
Or you
was, yeah, no,
okay.
I was working. I was burning candles. If you can burn candles at every end possible, that was me. I was working, I was traveling, I'd do night shift as a radiographer because as soon as the hospital would go quiet, I was like, bang, laptop out, phone out. I was like, wheeling and dealing. So
Wow. And
yeah, it was messy. Mm,
Is Bali still considered a great spot for manufacturers in a specific industry? Like for example, so I'm in Mexico and Mexico is
mm,
known for leather shoes. So is Bali
yeah.
known for something as it comes to manufacturing?
It is. I feel like your Mexico is our Bali. It's kind of a
Yeah.
similar vibe. It's got this really undercurrent of creativity over in Bali. There's a lot of they're beautiful like artists and they create and they make. So it is a lot of small businesses start there because your
Oh,
MOQs are so much lower. So you can just do 20 and 30 and it's very hands-on. So when I went into the clothing side, I moved from leather into clothing, I'd work like literally one-on-one with a small family factory, designing, working with the cutters, working with the sewers, working with the pattern maker. It was very raw and those times were fun. You look back now and they were crazy, but I do miss that hands-on approach with design.
so beautiful. Okay,
Yeah.
so into kimonos. I love kimonos, by the
Mm.
way, especially being here. Like I wear kimonos all the time. So you said you moved into kimonos that went viral. Okay, take us there.
Yes.
Tell us what happened.
Yeah, so I found this beautiful fabric at the market while I was in Bali, and it was like a white, it was very femme, like beautiful floral with purple and pink on it. And I thought, I'm just going to make some kimonos up. So I got this cute little kimono made, this little like lace singlet underneath it. And I took it home and I shot it in my garden on a model. my camera and put it onto Pinterest because there was no Instagram. It was just starting then, and it went viral. So I had like people emailing, calling. I had wholesale accounts saying, I want to stock this kimono. And I was like, wow. So like a
Wow.
50 piece order went to like 200-piece order, went to like, I sold thousands and thousands of this kimono. And I look back now, my margin on that kimono, I didn't know what a margin was back then, but it was
Right?
like 93%. I was like, that is a banger. That is a winner. Yeah, so it gave me this huge cash injection on this one kimono, and that kind of got me going into the fashion side of things. So the universe wanted me to get into that path, so it gave me that. I believe it gave that to me to keep going.
Clearly, yes. And now,
Yeah,
I'm thinking of like Australia kimonos. There's some really well-known kimono brands specifically that come out of Australia. And I love the
yeah.
connection to Bali. I spent some time in Bali when I
Oh,
was traveling, and it's such a like just the energy there
yeah.
and the people and just how
Hmm.
humble and grateful they are. Maybe that's why I'm in Mexico on this side of the world because it's a very similar energy and it's very feminine and very
Yeah,
grounded.
it
So,
is. Yeah,
so kimonos inspired you to move more and more into fashion. Okay, so then
yeah,
what happened
yeah.
next on the journey?
What happened next? So I was kind of being the candle at every single end when I was on the Gold Coast, and I decided that I was going to move to Bondi because this is where in Sydney, because this is where it was like a big stage where I was going to be seen. That's what I
What year
thought.
are
So I
we
packed my
talking?
life up.
What year are we in?
Pardon?
What year are
We
we
are
in?
in 2014. So
Okay.
I went from like a no name brand, no investment, no fashion degree, no business degree. Like I had no idea what I was doing. But I loved what I was doing. And I kind of worked things out as I went along. But I just had this thought in my mind that the Gold Coast was quite small and Sydney was bigger. So I'm going to move to
Yes.
Sydney and I'm going to do the markets in Sydney and I'm going to kill it, right? So I packed my whole life up. I moved, put everything in my old car. I left my life on the Gold Coast and I drove to Sydney. I set up off first. I put a spare room downstairs where I was living that I worked out of. I quit radiography, my safe job. So I'm just like cut all ties.
All
Moved
in.
to Sydney. Yeah, all in, went all in, get to Sydney, and I just finally did a market and it was horrendous. It was so bad. Like no
No.
sales. Yeah, it was hot. I was like, what have I done? What have I done? Yeah. And it was an hour before the market closed. And a lady came up to me and she said, hi, I've got a fashion brand too. And do you want to do a pop-up shop together? I thought, retail was never in my grand plan ever.
Okay.
And I thought, yes, why not? And I think you've got to be open to all opportunities, even if they're not in your grand plan.
Yeah.
So I said yes. And I started doing pop-up shops. And I never did another market after that. So,
Okay, so what did
yes.
pop-up shops look like at that time? What was it?
Mm. Oh, it was like literally an old space. But it was had a roof and it had a door and it had a key and I could walk in there and I could wear nice clothes and put my music on and be with the product. I wasn't dragging things around market stalls or in the
Wow.
hot and the weather and the elements. It was just me in this store. And I remember that first weekend, I think we did like $10,000 or something crazy just in the shop. And I was like,
Wow.
wow, like I've been at the markets for years and I could have just walked into a store and like sold products. So yeah, it was a big shift.
Wow.
So didn't do any markets. And after that pop-up shop, I did another pop-up shop and then another pop-up shop and then eventually signed my first 6-month retail lease in that same suburb, Freshwater. And that is where I still have a retail lease today. It's the
Oh my
OG.
goodness.
Yes,
That's an
Renee came to
OG.
see when she came over. She came to see the OG store. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, but hold
Mm.
on. So a
Yes.
pop-up shop is like how long are you in that space for?
Oh, sorry. So it's like a temporary lease. So it's like, okay, I'll take this site for 8 months. So there's zero, it's not really a commitment. You're not signing a 15-year lease and completely freaking yourself out of how am I going to pay rent and bills and things. It's like eight weeks maybe. And then you go in there and then it closes and you go somewhere else. So it's
Okay,
like
so
an
the
easy way to test the market without
yes.
committing all in.
And it was that
Mm.
lady at that market that you sold nothing at that planted the
Oh,
seed of this pop-up shop for you. And then the
crazy, right?
universe said, okay, their
You're going
retail
to do
is for
retail.
you.
Yes. Isn't it wild? It's wild. Yeah.
Yes and no, because when you like, I live by the laws of the universe. Like, this for me
Yeah.
is just like, well, of course, because you were so passionate, your frequency was so elevated, you were so
Mm,
excited, you were on purpose, and you said
mm,
yes to the next thing. And so it's like
yeah.
you follow the breadcrumbs and the pathways continued
Yeah.
opening up for you. And of course it
Yeah.
makes sense. Like, of course this is the way that it happened. So that first
Yeah.
retail location opened in what year? The OG.
Oh gosh, now you're testing me. The OG.
Sorry, I need the details. I'm a detail oriented person.
I think I signed my first retail lease 7 years ago, like the 5 year lease, but that little pop up store would have been 2015, I think.
Okay, so
Yeah.
10 years ago. And so in that
Yeah.
first pop up, what were you selling? Is it like, was it a whole line? Was it just a few like product
No,
SKUs?
mainly the leather bags then. So a bigger range
Ah,
of the leather product and a few of the kimonos and little shorts and just a few little kind of fashion kind of pieces, kimonos still. And yeah, so it was mainly the leather product.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And
But
now you're
it's
this like huge label with just such beautiful pieces. So you
thank you.
evolved over time. How did you know
Yeah.
that this was the direction that you wanted to move into? So open more retail locations, expand
Yeah.
your line. When did this
Yes.
happen? How did this happen?
I think it happened slowly. And then the more momentum I had with like the product was selling out, the clothing was selling out faster than the leather products. So to be honest, we do minimal leather products now. Like I don't even have any leather bags or wallets for sale. It's all clothing. We're going to get back into it in the next 6 months. But it just went fully into clothing and fashion. And that's what I'm so passionate about. And I always wanted to, that was my goal. That's what I always loved. I just didn't know how to get there. So I just kind of started with like, okay, we'll start with the wallets and leather and then we'll kind of move our way into the clothing. So that's kind of how it
So
evolved, just one conversation, one step at a time. COVID was a big thing, like because we were manufacturing in Indonesia and Bali, and you've actually got to be there with them, holding their hand. And I loved that. But COVID meant for 3 years I couldn't actually go there. So we had
right.
to pivot which is a blessing kind of in a way as well. So we had to pivot our whole production to China, which was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything out of there, which is good because they are so much efficient and the quality and it is better for growth. And, you can give them 1,000 units of a dress and they won't freak out. Whereas Bali's like, "Ah," you know.
Yes.
So it was definitely a pivotal moment, us moving our production. As heartaching as it was at the time, it was definitely the right move to do.
I can
Yeah.
imagine, when we were building our company, Love Powered Co., which is paper products, affirmation cards, everything in the personal development and mindfulness space for families. We were like, we're
Mm.
going to manufacture a product in Canada, a paper product, mind you, that's extremely heavy. And I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
talking to the first possible partner, and the cost of the affirmation deck was close to $100. We're like,
Wow.
okay, this is not
Yeah.
going to work, and therefore we have to go overseas. And I'm
Yeah.
in the development of a new brand right now, and I was looking specifically at pickleball sneakers and looking at Mexico and
Yes.
Portugal, but China, there is just it's you just can't. If you really want to have a profitable business and
Yeah.
play the volume game, like,
Yeah.
China has every industry figured out. And
It
is it going
does.
to change over time? I have no idea. But right now, if you
Mm.
want to have a business,
Yeah.
manufacturing overseas makes sense. And so you found your partners.
Mm.
I'm assuming that
Yeah.
took time. What were some of the
Yeah.
big pain points with finding your manufacturing partners?
Oh, honestly, and it's just trial and error.
Yeah.
We've had partners we've been with for like over 5 years. We've had some that do a season or a year, and you don't know until you're in there together with them. We treat them all as partners. They are an extension of your business. Um, but you just don't know. They can look so great on the books. They can tick every box, but until you put a line through production and see what actually how they can handle the production, see what comes out the other side of production, you don't know. So we've
Exactly.
definitely had some fantastic factories and some ones that haven't unfortunately worked out. And like you said, that's so broad over there. So we've got factories who do our knitwear, we have factories who do our wovens, we have some that are more specialised in the print placement. So they've all got their strengths and weaknesses. So it's
Yes.
definitely about working with them and finding out what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and holding hands together and hoping for the best. Yeah.
Hoping for the best. I was sharing on
Yeah.
another podcast. I remember sending $30,000 to China and just like literally
Yeah.
crossing my fingers and
Yeah.
toes and hoping we get the product.
Did you
And
get it?
of course,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
thankfully we
Yeah.
we got the product. And so, these things happen, but when you hold the vision, when you know
Yeah.
that you're onto something, it's like, yeah, you have to have that faith, you have to have the trust, you have to have the growth mindset. So your
Yeah.
mindset, you've had a growth mindset, you've taken risks,
Yeah.
you've went after it, you've held the faith. So is it something that you've always carried? Is a growth mindset something you learned?
Mm. I think I just always believed that, like I said, if other people can do it, why can't I?
I love
And
that.
just
Yeah.
had that mindset of what's the worst that can happen? Yes, it's not going to
Yeah.
work. I'm going to fail and have to pivot. But there's so many people out there who are so scared to even take that first step, to
Yeah.
even try. They wait for this perfect moment, but there's never a perfect moment. They wait for everything to be lined up, and the right logo, the right brand, the right product. It's like it's never going to be it's never going to be right. So you just need to
Yeah.
start and then go all in, and then once you're in there, then things will change and pivot. So I think that's what I've always done. I think that's why it's been so successful.
Yes,
So
100%.
yeah.
And you
So
mentioned you mentioned earlier that your parents were really in support of the safe, secure path. My parents were Polish immigrants in
with that,
Canada. How was
yeah.
that when you told them, like, I'm quitting the safe, secure job and I'm going all in on this? Like, what was their reaction? And then what did they say now, considering how
Yeah.
many boutiques you have and the growth you're experiencing?
Yeah. Oh, look, they're very, very proud.
Mm.
But in the beginning, yeah, they just thought I was crazy. And just seeing me like work so hard as a radiographer and doing this on the side, they're like, I had a conversation with my dad one day. He's like, why are you doing this? Like, I don't understand why. And I was like, Dad, I just love it. I just love creating, and I'm going to keep doing it. So early on in the piece, I really wanted to prove to my dad that I could do it. And how I could do that was by earning my same salary as a radiographer in KIVARI. Yeah. So when I finally got there, I was so proud to go up and show him my bank balance and show him how much money the business was turning over back then, just to say, look, I've actually done it and I've made it. And he's like, that's awesome. So they
Oh,
did think
I
I was
love it.
mad, but yeah, very proud now, obviously. So yeah.
Yeah, our parents have their own belief systems, and yet for us,
Absolutely.
entrepreneurs at heart, like when you have that
Mm.
fire within, it has to be brought into reality. Like that's kind of what I discovered. My parents thought I was absolutely insane. Mostly my dad thought I
Yeah.
was also
Yeah.
crazy when I literally quit my corporate job and went into entrepreneurship, but it was this fire, and there was just
Yeah.
no way that I was going to continue working in a cubicle and doing this for the rest of my life. And
Yeah.
imagine turning back on your life and saying, I did this because my
Mhm.
dad wanted me to. Like, imagine being 65, going into
Yeah.
retirement and regretting
Yeah,
all of it. Like, there was just
exactly.
no chance.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, tell us a little bit about your creative process. So I've witnessed online your photo shoots in Greece. Like you have such beautiful creative. Your
Thank you.
designs are amazing. So how do you get your inspiration? And then what do you do with that inspiration? Like what is the
Mm.
actual process of idea to a physical product?
Yeah, so I've always been a massive traveler. I love traveling. I love the ocean. So that's definitely a creative force behind Kavari. I always feel very inspired when I'm traveling, beautiful destinations. Like obviously the brand started in Bali. So you're looking at travel, looking at coast with a sense of creativity and freedom. So it started there. So that's always embedded in our collections. And you can see that within the prints. There's a lot of coastal prints, a lot of like shell motifs, and it's always brought together that way. But the creative process starts as an idea, and it's usually somewhere I've been or experienced. So recently I put a caravan, like a little, we call them RVs maybe. And I went
Yeah.
around Australia for 4 months with my family, my husband and two kids. And I was sure what I expect on the trip, but I ended up becoming so inspired. There's some beautiful areas northern Australia, northern Australia, called the Kimberleys. And it's just raw beauty, like red rocks and turquoise waters and white sand. And it's just beautiful. And I became really inspired. So I take lots of photos and I bring them back to the design team and they kind of piece it together. And that is the start of a new collection, essentially.
Oh,
So yeah,
I
so
love
that's
that.
we're working on it at the moment, and that will come out in 2027, which is crazy, over a year away. Yeah, so it's a long, long process. People don't realize actually how long the process is from like creative brief until like your final product is on a rack in a store. Yeah,
Wow. I mean, I would have no idea. So your inspiration you bring to your team and it's a year or more to actually
yeah,
come into production and be available for sale. Wow. And so
yeah.
your team, so you're not actually doing the design. You bring the inspiration and you have an
Mm,
amazing team that you work with that brings your ideas into the thing
they
that you're
do.
creating.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I used to do it all back in the day, but obviously as the business has grown and scaled, we have an incredible design team, two in-house print designers. So all our prints are actually done in-house, which I don't know how many people know that, but that's what takes a long time. Like the prints, they hand paint and draw. Like it's incredible what they can do. And so we
Wow.
start, yeah. Yes, we
And
start
that
with our concept.
yeah. Oh, sorry, continue. You start with the concept, yeah?
Yeah, no, no. So we start with the concept, like the Kimberleys, for example. We turn that into like a story color board. Then we go into the print design aspect and get some like our beautiful prints together that are inspired by the location. And then from there, we design the silhouettes. So it's probably like 30 to 40 shapes per month. So it's quite big and that flexes up and down. Like obviously summer's higher and winter is lower. And from there, we design the sketches. Yeah, it's a huge it's crazy how long the process is. So we
Wow.
design the sketches, and the design team will design it, and I'll do final sign off. They'll present it to me, and I'll say yes, no, or maybe we could tweak this one, or I'd love to see more of a one shoulder, or so it's kind of very much working together on the process. And
Wow.
yeah,
It's so
once it's signed,
exciting. And you've also built a
yeah.
large community of raving fans. And are you
Yes.
tapping into your community for new designs? Are you communicating with them in that way? Like what has really allowed you to build a solid like following of raving fans that
Mm.
purchase?
Yeah, it's a good question. I feel like it's you just got to listen to your community and get them involved in the process along the way, which we've always done. So, for example, like on social media, we'll sometimes put up a post saying, "Hey, do you want to see this sold out?" Recently, as it was a beautiful heel, a sandal, a shoe. Would you like to see it in chocolate or cream? And they kind of vote on what they'd like to see. So it's kind of getting your community involved in what you're doing. We have store events where we bring our community in to like, showcase a new collection or shop in store. We have sip and shops on Saturdays. We have some champagne and bubbles and the community comes in. So we've got a really strong, beautiful, loyal community and following. And that's also it used to be a lot of intuition back in the day. It was me feeling, oh, okay, I feel like this shape or this silhouette. But now it's very data driven.
Yeah.
So we look at our data, our customer, our girl is like loving this silhouette and this top. So we make sure that's always in the collection or a version of that, like with a tweak or the same kind of silhouette doing the same job. So we make sure we
Oh,
keep our girl happy. So I think
so
that definitely
beautiful.
helps with community and being authentic as well and just being real and being connectable. Definitely
Yes, and also I
drives
feel, and
community.
I've spoken to a lot of founders on this show, and I think a
Mm.
big piece too is having that connection with you as the founder. I believe you said
Mm.
online that the first podcast interview you did was with Renee and Kelowna. Was that true?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've always not liked public speaking. So this last year I've gone all in. I was like, you know what, this scares me, so I'm just going to go head first and I'm going to do it. And so I kind of started thinking about it because in the past people would ask me and I'd just say no, 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 I'm not going to do that. Sorry, I'm not available. So yeah, and then Renee's like, oh, come down, we'll come to the studio. I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And she's like, yeah, it's just you and I. And I was like, okay. And I didn't tell her, but I was so nervous. I sat there like.
Well, and it's amazing. And that
Yeah.
was only 6 months ago from the time we're recording this. And so I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like I was speaking to another founder who has a beautiful brand called Hookah. We just recorded, and having that connection with the founder, a founder who chooses to be, in
Yeah.
front of their audience, allows us to build
Yeah.
that deeper connection. So now we have this experience with you as the founder and your creative process and the passion that you hold for the designs and your
Yeah.
creativity. And it's like, oh my gosh, like I want to support her and I want to be a part of this community. And then on top of that, everything that you do is so exquisite and beautiful and it holds this elevated frequency. And so it's really a win-win situation. And I do feel for any founder listening that, if you're
Mm,
scared to be in front of the
mm,
camera as a founder and you want to hide behind the brand, I
yeah.
personally feel moving into 2026, like front facing
Yeah.
founders, community
Yeah.
building. How can you get your community involved? How can you break the fear and just get in front of the camera, share your story, share your vision, share your why, and allow us
Yeah.
to connect deeper with you? I really feel that's going to support brand growth into the new year. So, what do you believe
100%.
really differentiates a brand in today's marketplace? Because I feel like every
Yeah.
industry is saturated, every industry is busy.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with what you're saying. Like it's different 10 years ago to what it is today. Like brands that built with heart and consistency are the ones that going to outlast the other brands. So you just need to show up, be authentic, be consistent, and definitely a founder facing led brand, I think is a new way forward. So if you're scared and you're worried, I've done it.
You're
So I
doing
can do
it.
it. Anyone listening can do it as well. You just need to practice and practice and practice and get the reps in. And because people want that connection. And even like for us, like what we post on social media, if I'm in it, it always performs better because they feel this connection. There's real person behind the brand.
Yeah.
It's not just some digital AI product getting sold to someone. It's authentic and it's real.
This is it, especially
Yeah.
because now I'm getting all these ads of like AI can do your content for
Oh,
you. And
yeah.
I'm like, no, thank you. This is why,
Yeah.
that human connection. And I love how you're doing the community experiences at your shops is like, let's come in and meet each other and, see and touch the fabric, connect with you as founder. It's just brilliant. And it's only going to
Yeah.
continue. This is going to continue driving growth. What are you
Yeah.
seeing? So you have boutiques, you have DTC. Where, like,
Yeah.
what's your split? Where are you seeing most growth? Is there something that you're all going to lean more into in
Mm.
2026 for growth?
Yeah, definitely. So we've got, 14 retail stores now. We all open. We've got another two in the pipeline already for next year. We've got two renovations. So our Byron and Noosa stores need a little facelift. They've been the same 5 years. Even though everyone loves them, I'm like, oh, she's a bit tired. So we're going to tidy a few up. So that's four big projects. And we're really going to push into our digital channels. So online here in Australia, but even more so US. So we've got a US 3PL, like a warehouse over there now. And that came about due to the tariffs and all that issue that happened. So we now have a base. So our
Amazing.
goal for this next coming year is definitely driving our digital hard and expanding that way.
I
So it's
love
exciting. There's
that.
so much opportunity for us.
So much. And I
Yeah.
feel like the North American market needs your products here even more
Yes,
so.
you
I know
do.
you have some retail partners, but I'm like, I want to see you everywhere. It's just such a beautiful brand
Yeah,
with
thanks,
heart.
Anna. Yeah, thank you.
So you invest quite a lot in personal development and your own growth
Yes.
as founder. Tell us about that
Yes.
journey and, maybe some of your biggest tools or mentors or, consistent
Mm.
work that you do on self to continue growing.
Yeah, I think so. One of the biggest um, growth catalysts for me is realizing that I do not have to be in every room to lead.
Oh,
Yeah, we've got incredible people, and we just need to trust them to do their job. And there's a
yeah.
lot of businesses out there who will cap themselves at like 1 mil. They can't push above that because they can't let go to grow. So I think it's really important to understand that concept earlier on. And I feel like for me, I realized earlier, I was like, I'm not the smartest person in the room. People can do my job a lot better than I can do it. And just so you let them do their job. And that has definitely been a catalyst in the growth of KIVARI. And more recently, I think as well, your mindset sets the ceiling for yourself. and the business. So you can only grow your business to what your mindset's at. That's been a really great one, I think, this last 12 months. I've never had mentorship up until about a year ago.
Okay.
I just kind of always figured things out as I went. It was messy. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just thought I'd just work it out. So I'd just go and I'd fail and I'd get back up again. I'd keep pushing and learning and growing. But a year ago, I invested in a mentor, like Dan Martell, who have really helped my mindset and business strategy and growth, which has been incredible.
Yeah, so amazing.
It's been really
Yeah,
good.
so you've been working closely with Dan. Did you do the mastermind, or were you in private coaching?
No, the elite group, like the group coaching, yeah. And there was recently a mastermind here in Manly, like literally next door to my house. So I attended that last week as well, which was amazing.
So good. And I
Yeah.
can only imagine the
Yeah.
community of like-minded founders that you surround yourself with that,
Awesome.
10x's growth just by being, and not even like being in the room,
Mm.
but being connected and having similar
Yeah.
visions and trajectory and all of that.
Mm.
So that's incredible. Is there a book you
Mm.
recommend? Is there a tool that you practice daily for your own self-work and inner identity?
Yeah, I mean, Think and Grow Rich is always a great book to start with when you're starting out. I think that's a good way. Atomic Habits is great. Obviously, Buy Back Your Time is fantastic. So there's some great books out there to read. But for me as well, to my mental sanity, I've got to get out every day and exercise. As a mother, as a founder, you're just, everyone seems to, they need you, and that's great. But you need to look after yourself as well. So for me, that's about exercising every day, getting out. It's that you alone time. That's the only time you usually get for the entire day, is that 1 hour in the morning to, feel good, get to the
Yes.
gym, grab yourself a coffee and poof, before
Yes.
the day starts.
And permission slip, like every product founder I've had on this show, it's like you need that time for self so that you can
Yeah.
operate from the overflow versus like there's no proving ourselves. The harder we work doesn't amount to the success we're going to experience as
Yeah.
previously taught. So
100%, 100% agree with you there.
so
Yeah.
many of us are just rewiring and redefining what female leadership and female founder success
Mm.
looks like because it's impossible the other way around. It's possible in a sense of yes, the success can be achieved, but the
Mm.
fulfillment of it feels completely different. So
It does. Yeah.
it's really exciting where we're going. Okay, I am going
Yes.
to move into some rapid fire questions for you.
Yes.
Do you have anything to add that I might have missed that you feel would add value to founders who are listening to the show?
Oh, it's a good question. What do I want to add? I think just back yourself.
Yeah.
In a world that's busy and noisy, just like back yourself. And those moments you want to give up, sometimes the best moments where you decide, like, I'm actually not going to give up, I'm going to go all in. So
Yeah.
I challenge you, when you have those moments, instead of backing out, just charge forward and go all in. Because I guarantee it's the pivotal moment that will change the trajectory of your business and your life forever.
So good.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And it's like you thinking back to the first market that you did and now looking at what you've created today, there's every step you would have, it would have been impossible to know the steps you were going to take, but you took the first
No.
one, which led you to the next one and continue doing that. So good.
Yes. Yeah.
So inspiring. All right. Okay.
Thanks, Anna.
Rapid fire. Let me pull this up here for us. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Your future self, 20 years from today, what message is she telling you, Kiki, right now?
She's saying, relax, Kiki, everything is going to be okay. And you're going to crush it.
Yes. Okay. If you had to rebuild KIVARI from scratch tomorrow, knowing what you know today, what's the first move you would make?
I would hire my first employee earlier, because the time you hire, you actually needed someone like 6 months prior. So don't be scared. Go all in and make that hire.
So good. A non-negotiable habit that you practice daily.
Exercising every morning.
A belief you had to let go of to grow.
You can't be in every room to lead it.
Your favorite place in the world to design from?
Bali.
A founder you'd love to brunch with?
Oh, Sarah Blakely.
Oh, amen. Me too. Do you
Need to
play?
make that happen.
Let's do it. Do you
Yeah.
play pickleball?
No, but I want to learn.
Amazing. You're going to play with me. And what's your definition of prosperity?
Freedom, travel, creativity.
So good.
Yeah.
Okay, where
Yeah.
can we find you and where can we shop your beautiful creations?
Right. You can find me at Kiki_Keyser, and you can shop at KIVARI.com. Oh, you're a US. KIVARI.com.
I love
No
that.
AU on that one.
Thank you so much. And I
Yeah.
will see you in Tulum, Mexico in February. Thank you so much for your time and
I
for being
can't
here.
wait. Thanks, Anna.
Thanks for joining me on today's episode of the Prosperity Playground podcast. If this conversation sparked something in you, be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts so you never miss your weekly activation. If you enjoyed the conversation, please rate and review. Your feedback helps us reach more souls just like you who are ready to calibrate to their most prosperous life. Know someone who needs this frequency boost? Share the episode to Instagram and tag me at _Anna Lozano so we can grow our energetically aligned community together. And please remember, true prosperity is about alignment, freedom, expansion, and embodying your worth. Start today. I'm Anna Lozano, and this is the Prosperity Playground. See you on the next activation.